All right, now we're going to solve quadratics using the quadratic formula. Okay, this is a strategy that always works, but before you use the quadratic formula, you got to make sure the quadratic is in standard form and it is set equal to 0. So if there's a number over there, you got to subtract it over, okay, and make it be part of the C, all right? Or if there's an X on that side, make it be part of the B. And once you get it in standard form, we're just going to plug your A, B, and C into the quadratic formula, which is right here. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, and when you're doing this, if the inside of the radical is negative, all right, then we won't get any real solutions. Our solutions are going to be imaginary. And again, we'll talk about that later. But for now, if that happens, we'll just write no real solutions. So when we're solving this problem, this one is already in standard form, already set equal to 0. So I just want to identify my A. My A is 1, my B is -2, and my C is -6. Okay, your signs are going to be very important here, so make sure you have the correct signs. Now I just plug everything into that equation. All right, so I get x equals, all right, so -2. And again, if you already know that's +2, you could have just wrote +2 right there, plus or minus. Again, there's a plus or minus because when you're solving and you take a square root of something, there's the positive version of it and the negative version of it. All right, and so square root of b squared, so -2 squared. Again, I'm writing everything out right now. Okay, it's -2 squared minus 4 times 1 times -6. That's all inside the radical. And then all that is divided by 2 times 1. All right, and so now I want to simplify this. All right, so I'm going to get +2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus 24 over 2. And so that's 2 plus or minus rad 28 all over 2. All right, so now we need to simplify the radical, what we just worked on in the last video. So 28 is 4 times 7, so that's going to be 2 rad 7. So I'm going to get x equals 2 plus or minus 2 rad 7 all over 2. And now I need to divide the fraction. Can I simplify the fraction? So 2 goes into everything here, right? So goes into the constant here, goes into the radical here, and it goes into the denominator. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, plus or minus, and then 2 rad 7 divided by 2 is also 1 rad 7. So my answer, okay, my answers, plural, are 1 plus rad 7 and 1 minus rad 7, which you can just write as 1 plus or minus rad 7. And that's as simplified as we can get it. If my answer said to estimate, then I would type rad 7 into my calculator and get 2 point something, and then do 1 plus the 2 point something and the 1 minus the 2 point something to get approximate value. Sometimes the directions will say round to the nearest hundredths. All right, so now let's do question 2. So with question 2, all right, I need to add 3 to both sides. So it's set equal to 0. That's important because now I know my C is +3. Okay, so my A is 2, my C, oops, sorry, I forgot my B. My B is 6, and my C is 3. So I have my 3 things I'm going to plug into my equation here. So x equals, all right, -6 plus or minus 6 squared. So I'm just going to write 36. And it's b squared minus 4ac. So 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, 8 times 3 is 24. I get minus 24. So I did the 4ac in my head. The numbers were small enough. Okay, 4 times 2 times 3 is 24, all over 2 times 2, which is 4. And so 36 minus 24 is 12. So I get negative 6 plus or minus, okay, square root of 12 over 4. Now I got to simplify the square root of 12. That's 4 times 3, so that's 2 rad 3. So I get negative 6 plus or minus 2 rad 3 all over 4. And now I ask myself, can I simplify the fraction? And yes, 2 goes into negative 6, 2 goes into 2 rad 3, and 2 goes into 4. So my final answers will be negative 3 plus or minus rad 3 all over 2. All right. And now your turn to try x squared plus 10x equals 14. All right, so again, I'm going to subtract the 14. I'm going to get x squared plus 10x equals negative 4 or minus 14 equals 0. And I'll plug everything in. So x equals negative b, so negative 10 plus or minus the square root of 10 squared, which is 100, minus 4ac, so but it's going to end up being plus because negative 4 times negative 14, okay, is going to end up being positive. Okay, so 4 times 14 will be 56 all over 2 times a, so just 2. So we get 156 here. So we get negative 10 plus or minus the square root of 156 over 2. Okay, so we got to simplify square root of 156 if we can. Well, 4 goes into it. Okay, 4 is going to go into it 39 times. So it's going to end up being 2 rad 39. When you simplify, you get negative 10 plus or minus 2 rad 39 all over 2. And then, yes, 2 can simplify into 10, into 2 rad 39, into 2. So I'm going to get negative 5 plus or minus rad 39 over 1. So, but I don't need to write that. So this is my final answers. Negative 5 plus rad 39 and negative 5 minus rad 39.